Hi, I'm Daniela and this is Jocelyn. Thanks for coming back to our channel. In our last video, we talked about several different types of insemination at home that you can do. In this video, we're going to break down where to go next.
By the end of this video, we hope you're more confident moving forward on your path to parenthood.
Artificial insemination and all of the things we break down in this video, we've talked about so many times, but just in separate videos. So we'll add a bunch of links that help you put everything together. And this is like the first time we're talking about everything like all in one.
So let's break everything down, starting with step 1, figuring out what type of insemination you'd like to do. Some of the most well-known ways to get pregnant at home are through natural insemination, partial insemination, or artificial insemination. To learn more about each, check out the link above.
Once you've figured out what method of insemination works best for you, the next step is to figure out what type of sperm works best for you, fresh or frozen. There are no significant studies that we have found that determine whether it's better to use fresh or frozen sperm. So figuring out what works best for you with your personal choices is the best way to go.
What we do know is frozen sperm does go through a washing process, so you're getting the healthiest sperm in each vial. But on the other hand, fresh sperm lives longer in a woman's body, so there are little things to consider that may affect your personal choice.
You may have heard in our previous videos that we have experience with both fresh and frozen sperm. Although when we do it at home ICI, we've always used fresh and we've always used frozen in clinic for IUI, so we haven't had the experience ourselves of thawing the sperm and using it on our own, but I know many couples out there do that. If you have any questions on how to find a sperm donor that's right for you, check out the link above.
This step can feel overwhelming at times, and it's okay to take your time until you feel confident and comfortable in your decision. While you're doing that, you can also move into step 3, which is prep your body.
Ideally, anyone trying to conceive can spend anywhere from 1 to 3 months prepping their body. And you can do this through starting prenatal vitamins, eating a healthy diet, incorporating some moderate exercise, and tracking your ovulation.
The earlier you start tracking your ovulation, the better you are at predicting when you're ovulating. So if you're interested in learning more about how to track your ovulation, check out our video on this using the link above.
While you're prepping your body, you'll also want to start step 4, making a conception plan.
It's helpful if this plan includes things like the type of insemination you want to use, how many samples you anticipate using each month, and what your ovulation calendar is looking like.
So if you're using frozen sperm, a contract isn't something you're going to have to really consider because you have a contract with like the sperm bank when you sign and pay for it. If you're using a known donor like we did, that's when you're going to want to draw up a contract to proactively protect everyone's interests moving forward. Creating your first contract is nerve-wracking, but it's really important so you can lay down the foundation of what it is you want and what you're looking for out of this process, and then making sure that your donor agrees with it.
And if you're using frozen sperm, it's still good to create a conception plan that includes your ovulation so you know when to order it, when to have it shipped to your home. So although not everyone will be building contracts or using known sperm donors, building a conception plan that you feel comfortable with and having something to refer back to if you are in that circumstance can be extremely helpful.
Your conception plan can also include things like your ovulation cycle, how many times you want to inseminate, how often you need your donor to be available. Talking about these things in advance helps you prepare and then not be let down if you call your donor like tomorrow and they're like, oh, I'm not ready, I have work. They have to understand what it means for you and what you're giving up, and they also have to be willing to take the same risks and inconveniences.
So you figured out what type of insemination you want to do, what type of sperm would be best. You've been prepping your body, tracking your ovulation, and writing out your conception plan. Now it's time for step number 5, building your team.
If you're using a known donor, this is the spot where you're going to go over your contract with them and have discussions, lay everything out on the table to make sure everyone's on the same page. And they'll be the first person on your team.
Your doctor or a doctor is also a great person to have on your team. If you have a gynecologist or OBGYN, letting them know that this is what you're planning on doing is great. If you don't have an OBGYN yet, now's a great time to start looking.
The last person you're going to want to have on your team is someone there for emotional support. This may be a partner, like Jocelyn and I, or this may be a friend, that someone you want to include to have and talk through, because this can be a very stressful process and you really don't want to go through it alone.
So once you have your team locked and loaded, your conception plan all ironed out, and your body prepped for conception, you're ready for step 7, gathering your supplies.
Your supplies will vary depending on the type of insemination you choose to do.
When we first started artificial insemination at home, we had a baby making box, and what we kept inside were sterile sample cups, 3 and 5 ml syringes, some soft discs, some conceive or pre-seed, as well as both wet and dry wipes.
Luckily, we found everything we needed for our baby box online, including ovulation strips and pregnancy tests, all for probably under $100. If you're interested in the cost breakdown of artificial insemination at home, you can check out the link above, and we'll also provide some links in the descriptions on the supplies that we used.
And if you've already gathered your supplies, you're ready for step 8. Getting your contract notarized and your plans finalized for your first insemination.
Notarizing a document just means legalizing it and making it binding. So you can go ahead and sign your paperwork in front of a legal notary, and there's usually like one in town that does it for $5, $10, $15 a page.
You can also use notarize.com, which will do it online for you as well, for about $20 a document. We have experience using both the local notary public as well as notarize.com, and both have worked just fine.
After that, you should be ready to go. Something that you should always remember throughout this process is that you are your own advocate. Whatever way you decide to go about insemination, that is your path and your journey, and you wrote down a plan, stick up for it, make sure everyone respects it, communicate your needs at all times, and if you're ever feeling uncomfortable, it's never too late to back out. It's also good to remember that along this journey, situations may arise, conflicts may pop up, and it's always good to just check what you need and roll with the punches. We've had a lot of things like not being able to meet our donor on the day of ovulation come up, and those are just natural things that you're going to occur during this process, that you're going to occur.
You're going to accrue over time.
Yeah. I can remember so many times when our donor couldn't meet us on the day of ovulation, and we've had to skip that month, and that just had to be okay. What else were we going to do in that moment? Although it was crushing, we had to be able to pivot and make a new plan.
So to recap, getting clear on what you want your journey to look like, prepping your body, creating your plan, building your team, gathering your supplies, and legally finalizing your plan is everything needed to start artificial insemination at home.
We hope that you found value in this content and encourage you to subscribe if you haven't done so already. For anyone interested to learn more on how to actually perform your first artificial insemination at home, you can check out the link above.
Stay tuned for more lesbi-honest updates. See you soon.
See you soon.